Crossover is coming through your speakers. Open mic in the zone. Become one. We're like the Transformers. How's it going, Megatron?
It is going well, Brandon Kravitz. I am ready to go mano a mano with you on all
That,
the hot topics of the
that
day.
is not a bad Megatron, my friend. It's
I
no
don't even
Uncle
know.
Paulie, but it'll do, Mikey.
You want me to start or you want to start?
No, I get us started. I know that this is possible, but I'm wondering if it's likely. Will Bill Belichick pull a Billy Donovan and say, yeah, you know what? This job isn't as attractive as I thought it was. I'm going to take one of these NFL jobs. I know it's possible, so I'm not asking you about possibilities. I'm asking you about likelihood.
Well, first of all, Bill Belichick doesn't have a wife who absolutely did not want to leave his previous job. All right. Okay. He has a 25-year-old former cheerleader girlfriend. I'm sure she's going to go wherever Billy wants to go. All right. So, no, I mean, no, there's no chance Bill Belichick would pull a Billy Donovan. As I mentioned, Christine Donovan, when Billy Donovan took the Magic job, I mean, all you had to do was be at the introductory news conference, and I don't think she smiled the whole time during that introductory news conference. In fact, I still remember Bob Vanderwide, the Magic president at the time. He brought a big bouquet of flowers, over to Christine Donovan to welcome her to Orlando. And I'm telling you, this didn't happen, but the look on her face, you expected the flowers to just wilt in her hands. All right. That's how unhappy she was about it. So, no, I don't think Bill Belichick is going to do that. I don't think he has any family pressure to do anything. I think Bill Belichick, Mark Daniels brought up a good rumor. He thinks Bill Belichick is floating these rumors just because he wants to make everybody know I'm committed to North Carolina. I've got these other opportunities, but I'm sticking it out here. I think it's a good theory. He's probably doing it for recruiting purposes.
I think it's probably because these teams are looking around at established NFL coaches, guys that have some sort of tenure in the league, at least former tenure. When you see a list that includes Rex Ryan and Ron Rivera, yeah, why would you not call Bill Belichick? I don't think it doesn't take a very far leap to go, you know what? Maybe Bill, the greatest coach in NFL history, is a better option than I love feet Rex Ryan. I don't think I need a conspiracy theory to get there. What you got for me?
Well, speaking of the NFL, obviously a big story of the week is your Miami Dolphins and the dysfunction that organization is now. I'm at the press conference with Chris Greer, and Mike McDaniel was laughable. The more I see these two clowns, I think they both should be gone. But what are they going to do? Or what should they do with Tyreek Hill, who obviously is a very talented player, but he's become a distraction. He's become a detriment to the team, if you ask me. Can they keep this guy around?
I can't remember off the top of my head how long ago the trade deadline was, but however long ago that was the last time I answered a question like this, and I thought he should have been traded then. So I definitely think he needs to be traded now. He's not helping this team be any better. He's a locker room leader. Are you kidding me?
He's the
This guy's
captain. What are you talking about? Isn't he the
he's an
captain?
he's one of the captains. Well, there's one of your problems. He's an on-field quitter. You can't have a quitter as a captain. It's one thing when a backup linebacker for the 49ers decides he's not going to play, or Deontay Johnson. Tyreek Hill is one of your franchise guys. You've built the offense not even around Tua. You've built it around Tyreek Hill, and the offense stinks, and he's a quitter. So I don't see a lot of winning formulas here. They obviously have to move off of him. And he's at an age now where he's not going to get any better. I'm sure if he lands somewhere and he's super happy and the quarterback's halfway decent, he'll put up some numbers. But you know what? He put up numbers with Tua, and where did that get them at the end of the day? First round exit, cold weather, everybody froze up. Get him out of here. They should change the culture in Miami. I would be fine if they gutted the front office and head coaching staff, but uh, if Stephen Ross wants to be the goofball owner that decides that consistency is important, then I'm not going to bang on him for that.
Okay. All right.
Are you with me? Tyreek Hill needs to go. He's got to go.
Yeah, he needs to go. And your boy Dan Orlovsky, he brought up a good point. Tyreek Hill says, "Hey, I've never not been in the playoffs. I want to win." Blah blah blah. He goes, "Well, Tyreek Hill had that. He had that in Kansas City, but he wanted the big money. So boom, there you are. So,
Well, exactly.
don't complain.
Money isn't everything, people. I saw you wrote an article recently about Florida basketball, a dominant win against Tennessee, and I wish that was the biggest story from the game, but of course, one of the biggest stories comes from what surrounds the game. I don't know if you've seen this or not. I'm assuming that you have. This ticket mishap that they caused. What do you know about this, and how bad did Scott Strickland screw this up?
Yeah, evidently, and I'm trying to remember how. So it's during the break at the University of Florida when a lot of students are out of town. I think the students weren't back when this game was scheduled. So as they did last year at this time, they took a bunch of the student tickets and they made them available for sale. And that's what they did this year as well, except they didn't know that Tennessee was going to be the number one team in the country coming in here. And essentially, all these students came back and wanted to go to the game, and they didn't have enough tickets for the students. And some of the students had to be moved up into the upper echelons of the arena. You know, usually the students, the rowdy reptiles, they're called, they're right down near the court. And yeah, it was an unfortunate situation. Scott Strickland looks bad, but Scott Strickland has looked bad before. And, this isn't going to matter in the tenure of Scott Strickland. What's going to matter in the tenure of Scott Strickland is if Todd Golden, the basketball coach, continues to win, and if Billy Napier wins next year. So that's what Scott Strickland's tenure is tied to. It's not tied to whether a few hundred students got relocated for a basketball game.
I guess if you're going to screw anybody over, let it be the students, because the students can't get you fired like the boosters can, right? This will never happen to the boosters.
Exactly. In fact, the boosters got the tickets that the students didn't get, I would think.
Get out of here, kiddos.
Right.
But Scott Strickland said that they changed their policy and they're no longer going to sell tickets in advance for the student section. It'll be a day of thing. So good for Scott Strickland for realizing his mistake.
Yeah. All right. Last one for you. As you know, Kravitz, we've had this discussion for years, this debate. I'm much more of a college football fan than an NFL fan. You're much more of an NFL fan than a college football fan. I need your help here, though, because even though I am much more of a college football fan, I've discussed this with Mark Daniels. I've discussed it with Mike Huguenin. I'm much more excited about the NFL playoffs than I am the ongoing college football playoffs. Why is that? Explain that to me. I don't understand why.
Well, yeah, and you're not going to get any disagreement from me on this, and it's not just because I would consider myself, as you declared, more of an NFL guy than a college guy. I love both, but if I was forced to rank them, NFL throughout the course of my life is always and remains ranked a little bit higher. I think that I would liken it to the way our body clocks work, where you reach a certain time in the night and all of a sudden you start to wind down a little bit and you're used to a certain rhythm throughout the day. Now, you might be a bad example since you wake up at 2 o'clock in the morning, but for most people that are listening to this, you kind of get going at 6 a.m. and then you start to wind down around 9, 10 o'clock at night, something like that. And I think our brains work like that as far as the sports calendar goes. The New Year, New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, even though NFL is still going on and we're into it, our sports body clock is programmed to care about college football during that period. And then when that period goes away, we then transition to the NFL in the same way that once that calendar flips from February to March, we're all going to start thinking heavily about filling out our brackets. And then April hits and it's the NFL draft. There's a rhythm to the year. And this no longer jives with that rhythm. We're done with college football, yet here come the biggest games of the year. It's part of the reason why I didn't like the expansion of the playoff to begin with. I wasn't a fan of this. I thought the round one games were awful. Didn't need them. It did not help us in terms of where we are right now in crowning a champion. And then you end up with this where the season stretches for too long. You can love something and not want too much of it. And I actually think we're getting too much college football right now.
Good theory. I like it.
Thank you. The crossover is now over.